Hampshire stayed top of Group B by claiming their third win from 4 games in this season's Yorkshire Bank 40 competition. This one a nail-biter as they defeated Durham by 5 wickets with just 5 balls remaining at the Ageas Bowl. Jimmy Adams won the toss for the holders after the game had been reduced to 36 overs a side because of rain, and as he often does, he decided to have a bowl first, and it worked well as the dangerous Phil Mustard was LBW as Dimitri Mascarenhas celebrated his return with a wicket in his first over. Durham lost too many wickets early on. Scott Borthwick fell in the 5th over, top-edging a pull off Chris Wood to Adams at mid-off. Acting Durham skipper Mark Stoneman also fell to Wood in the 9th, uppercutting the bowler to David Griffiths at third man. And Paul Collingwood was out in the 11th, bowled off the inside edge by Griffiths, a dismissal which left the Dynamos on 45 for 4. Someone needed to take this game by the scruff of its neck, and quickly, and the man who did that was Ben Stokes, who produced a brilliant innings to give his side hope. In spite of the poor start, he still went for his shots, on a ground where he once struck 5 sixes in a single over. He obviously enjoys playing at the Ageas Bowl. The Durham 100 was brought up at the start of the 21st over as Stokes cleared the ropes for the first time off Danny Briggs. Stokes looked in the mood all right. He and Gordon Mutchell added 66 in 11 overs, the latter making only a dozen of those before he chipped a simple catch back to the bowler, Liam Dawson. Stokes was clearly the key man now, and he completed his exhilarating 50 off his 51st delivery in over number 23, by the end of which Durham's total read 116 for 5. Stokes now needed to go on for a while if he was going to put his side where they wanted to be. And he gave them every chance as he smashed 3 sixes in the space of only 6 deliveries. The first was swung over mid-wicket off Briggs, while his next 2 came off Dawson, the man he'd hit those 5 sixes off in a championship match 3 seasons ago. Dawson brought out the teapot as his 3rd over went for 18 runs, as Durham brought up their 150 at the end of the 26th over. It was an awesome display from Stokes, who'd raced on to 87 from 71 balls when he was out in a rather unusual manner, stumped off Wood as he slipped sideways out of his crease. It was a big moment for Hampshire and their wicket-keeper Adam Wheater. Stokes departed at 163 for 6 in the 28th, but his desire for quick scoring was continued by Ryan Pringle and Will Smith. The latter was particularly impressive. Normally a rather dour player, he produced some stunning shots as the score continued to climb. Pringle could have been run out, Briggs the unlucky fielder after a very smart stop off his own bowling. The total read 229 for 6 as the Dynamos entered the last over, the 36th. Smith hit Griffiths for 6 over extra cover off the 3rd ball to bring up a delightful 50 from only 34 deliveries. He may have been wondering why the top order had not been able to score as freely as he and Stokes had done. Smith was out next ball, Bowl trying something cheeky off Griffiths, and the innings was brought to an end with Pringle finding Adams in the covers. He made 26 out of his side's 241 for 8. Not a bad return after being 45 for 4 in the 11th over. So Hampshire required a rate of 6.7 runs per over from the start. Stoneman surprised everyone by opening up with part-timer Smith, but it worked a treat as James Vince was stumped second ball. That was hardly the start the champions wanted, of course, but they began to make very good progress through Adams and Michael Carberry. Very few of the opening 10 overs passed by without at least one boundary being scored, and that ensured that the home side were always around the rate they needed to be at. What Durham really needed themselves were some wickets to slow things down a bit, but both batsmen prevented that from happening as they picked off their runs in a professional manner. It was not hard to see why Hampshire have become the side to beat in the shorter forms of cricket over the last couple of seasons. A big over for them was the 14th. They started it on 69 for 1, still needing 173 runs at a rate of 7.5 per over, but Adams hit Collingwood for 15 and the race to the finish line was now on. The Hampshire captain got his 50 off 54 balls and was by now cutting loose, belting Pringle over long on for his 2nd maximum. Carberry reached his own 50 with the first of 2 sixes off successive deliveries off Mark Wood, who perhaps should have known that dropping in short to Carberry is not the most sensible thing to do. The batsman got to his half-century off only 39 balls, and he and Adams put on 133 runs for the second wicket in 18 overs. Because of that, Hampshire were just starting to run away with this game until Adams, on a runner ball 67, clipped Borthwick to wood at mid-wicket. 28 runs were knocked off in the next 6 overs before George Bailey edged Borthwick to Collingwood at slip. And that left 80 needed off the remaining 11 overs, and with wickets still in hand and Carberry well set, Hampshire were favourites, especially as he had now been joined by someone with the skills and experience of Sean Irvine. The two added 41 in 6 overs to take the target down to 40 off the last 5. Durham were still in it though when Irvine sliced Chris Rushworth to Mutchell, making it 202 for 4. But some wonderful clean hitting by Dawson then took the game away for the visitors. He pulled Rushworth over deep square for his first 6, before following it up 2 balls later by belting Wood for another fiercely struck maximum. With the game just about up, it was just a matter of whether Carberry could complete the 5th 100 of his one-day career. With the team needing 1, he required a boundary, but in going for it, he edged Wood behind on 96. Still, he'd won his side the game, and that was confirmed to the first ball of the final over as Dawson moved on to an electrifying 37 made from only 21 balls. He'd seen his side home by 6 wickets with 5 deliveries left. So that's 3 wins from 4 for the holders, which sees them sit proudly on top of Group B. Durham have managed only 1 win from their 4 matches. Hampshire have a chance to move further clear when they take on Lancashire on Wednesday at the Ageas Bowl, while Durham now return home for a top-of-the-table clash in the Championship against Middlesex from Wednesday.